Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward. On this channel, we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. We do plan to broaden that scope eventually, but for now, that's what we cover. So on today's edition of the Cup Series Rewind, we're looking back at last night's 8th annual Quaker State 400 presented by Walmart. 267 laps, 400.5 miles around this 1.5 mile Kentucky Speedway in Sparta, Kentucky. Not a lot going on in this race, and to be honest, I didn't expect much to be going on in this race. Gen 6 car, recently repaved Kentucky, one groove racetrack, aero dependent. You get the picture. Not going to be much going on. And it's sad, it is, but that's the state we're in. So, caution flags on the night, 422 laps. Nothing happening in Stage 1. Stage 1 concluded at lap number 80. Martin Truex Jr. from the pole takes the Stage 1 win. Stage number 2, lap 111. Alex Bowman gets into the wall in turn number 3. That would end his night, and he would take a huge hit in the points from that, as we will see in a little bit. Stage 2 concluded lap 160. Martin Truex Jr. also picking up the stage victory in this one. Shades of 2017 with Martin Truex Jr. here in Kentucky. Lap 208, fluid on the track in turn number 4 from the 23 car of J.J. Yaley. That would bring out the caution, the final caution of the night, lap 208 of 267. And that would be about it for the night. Nothing really of note otherwise happening in this race at all. Martin Truex Jr. leads 174 of the 267 laps from the pole. Other lap leaders being Kurt Busch with 45 laps. Brad Keselowski led 38. 5 laps went to Joey Logano, 3 to Jimmy Johnson, and Ryan Blaney led 1 lap. So let's get into the results on the night, and not a surprise, as he won both stages, won the pole, led 174 laps. Martin Truex Jr. wins this race, his 19th victory of his career. Just absolutely dominated on the night. There were very few points in the night where it even looked like Truex may not win the race. It was just a Truex kind of night. And again, like I said, shades of 2017. This looked like a lot of the wins Truex had in 2017. And a thought I had a few minutes ago was Martin Truex kind of is like the Lewis Hamilton of NASCAR for the past couple seasons, in the sense of most races that Truex has won in the past couple of years have been really boring races. He's gone out and just dominated and run away with it, and that's the same thing Lewis Hamilton does in F1. If Lewis Hamilton wins the race, generally it's a pretty boring race. That seems to be the same thing here most of the time with Truex, which is pretty interesting to see. Penske teammates Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski second and third, with the other two of the big three, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, rounding out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Kurt Busch, Eric Jones, coming off his first career win in Daytona, follows it up with a strong top 10 finish in 7th. Eric Almirola in 8th. Kyle Larson, who started from the back after missing driver introductions of all things. And the third Penske car, Joey Logano, rounds out the top 10. 11th through 20th, we see the quasi-fourth Penske car. Not really a Penske car, but more or less a Penske car. That Wood Brothers car for Paul Menard in 11th. Clint Bowyer there in 12th. Chase Elliott there in 13th. Never really had much strength on the night. He finished 10th in stage number 1, but was not in the top 10 at the end of stage 2, and just kind of off all night. Same for most of the Hendrick Brigade. Alex Bowman was pretty strong, though, before he had his issue in stage 2. Jimmy Johnson there in 14th. Daniel Suarez 15th. Denny Hamlin just off all night as well. 16th for him. Jamie McMurray got into Ricky Stenhouse earlier on in the race and cut Stenhouse's tire. A lot of people are saying karma after Daytona. That really ended the night for Stenhouse, with Stenhouse really not being able to do anything after that. 17th, though, for Jamie McMurray. Shout out to Matt Kenseth in 19th. Not the best finish for the 6 car this season, but pretty close. And definitely the best run Matt Kenseth has had in the 6 car yet. So they're making incremental gains with that 6 car. And that's the thing. If anybody expected Matt Kenseth to just jump in that 6 car and win races, it wasn't going to happen. That team is not in a position to be able to do that. That team does not have equipment for that. But very slowly, he seems to be helping them out and slowly getting the speed back into that car, which is good to see. 21st through 30th, both of the Childress cars back here. Ryan Newman 21st, Austin Dillon 22nd. Ricky Stenhouse, we see there, falls into the 26th position, 1 lap down after his run-in early on with Jamie McMurray. Bubba Wallace landed in 27th on the night. And 31st through 39th, the final page here, we see Jesse Little made his first career Cup Series start in the 7 car. He came home in the 35th position. And Alex Bowman, shotgun on the field in 39th, like we said. It would be that'll be a tough hit in the points for him, as we'll see here coming up in a moment on the playoff grid. All right, so this is normally the point where we would go to the media center and get post-race thoughts from your top finishers on the night. Unfortunately, this week we don't have that video because for whatever reason, the link is there where I get it from on the NASCAR media site to download it, but then it just doesn't download when you click on it. So I don't know. I don't have it this week, unfortunately. I apologize. If it ends up that I can actually get it before this gets uploaded and edited, I will stick it in there. But as of the time of this recording, I don't have it. So we will just jump right into the playoff grid. And obviously, as we see, the big 3 have gotten a lot closer to each other. Now with Truex's 4th win of the season, they are really solidifying themselves as the big 3 this season. 5 wins apiece for Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, 4 now for Truex, and they're all within 5 playoff points of each other. So they're all very close, and Truex, especially lately, has really been gaining on those 2, and we've got a really good championship battle between 3 cars here. I don't think we've seen this strong of a 3-car battle in a few years. Only other real changes here, Ryan Blaney jumped up a spot over Eric Almirola, and the cut line is a lot closer now. We've got a very, very close battle now between Alex Bowman, Ricky Stenhouse, and Paul Menard. All 3 of them definitely within striking distance, but that's the thing here too. Chase Elliott and Jimmy Johnson are only 1 bad race from being in this mix as well. And I wouldn't call Almirola or Blaney or maybe even Hamlin safe yet. You might even throw Larson into that. I think Kurt Busch is good at this point, and so is Brad Keselowski. But definitely these guys further down, they're about 1 bad race from being in this cutoff line battle as well. And the thing is, as we go further along through this season, and the big 3 continue to gobble up these wins. They've now won, 14 of 19 races. So it's very tough for anybody to get in on wins, and it's becoming more of a points battle to get into the playoffs. More of a points battle than I think we've seen in a long time to get into the playoffs. Because last year we had, 3 drivers get in on points? So it's going to be a lot more than that this year, I think, unless something really changes here in the next few races. It's definitely a lot more of a points-oriented playoff grid this year than it has been in past years. So that's your playoff grid following the Quaker State 400 presented by Walmart from the Kentucky Speedway. And I think that will do it for us tonight on the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show. If you haven't done it already, you need to go down below and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing from Racing News Now going forward. And don't forget to hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. We've got an ARCA Rewind show for the Sioux Chief Power Pex 250 that happened last night from the Elko Speedway. That'll be coming up as well. Later today, we've got Gus Dean, the winner, secured for an interview. We just don't have a time set up yet. So what I think I may do for that is go ahead and record the Rewind show, and then we'll just do the Gus Dean interview as a separate video, because it's sounding like we're not going to be able to get him until tomorrow, until Monday. So that's for the sake of time and getting the ARCA Rewind show up in a decent amount of time. I think we're just going to go ahead and do that without the interview and put that up later this evening. And then the Gus Dean interview will probably go up tomorrow, along with Pole Position. Pole Position also will be up on Monday as well at the usual time, 8 p.m., recapping all 3 races from Kentucky, ARCA from Elko, and IndyCar from Toronto, which is probably happening right now as this gets uploaded. So that'll be something to look out for tomorrow as well. But that will do it for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show for today. And as always, I'm your host, Garth Allen, for Racing News Now.